education reform look like, especially amongst urban communities?
Do you want to speak to that?
Sure. So I think starting with education reform means getting teachers that look like our students in schools. It's no secret that Providence public schools are failing, and there are less than 5% of teachers who are Black, Brown, Indigenous, or Asian American, which is a shame because you look at how many students are in our schools. And I worked in New Bedford as a high school math teacher in New Bedford, and then I was working at a charter school here in Rhode Island, and seeing that our students are not prepared in the same way they are in Massachusetts. Massachusetts says that it is a constitutional right for every student to have access to a great education. Rhode Island said, hey, actually, no, it's not. And that translates into our students being underserved, and they're not being educated to the same quality that if you travel 20 minutes away, they can get that same education. And then coming from a teacher's perspective, I was teaching in Massachusetts and could not teach in Rhode Island. I am a high school math teacher, a Black high school math teacher, one of the most resource teaching pools, and I could not get my license from Massachusetts with a master's in secondary math education to transfer to Rhode Island to teach in our public schools, which are failing, which is a problem. We have the highest population of ESL students, and they are being underserved. They are ranked 49th in the United States for ESL outcomes, and that's only because I think it's Vermont or Maine doesn't have enough ESL students to actually count in that metric. And there is no certification for a teacher to teach ESL in Rhode Island. So in our policies and in the way our education system is structured, we are fundamentally leaving out what does it mean to serve our students when we don't have licenses and we don't have reciprocity between our neighboring states, which are educating teachers and students far better than what Rhode Island currently is.
So you could not get certification, or you couldn't get it transferred?
I couldn't get my certification transferred to Rhode Island.
But you could get it in some other path?
I was certified in Rhode Island. I'd have to go back to school, pay money to go to RIC or URI, get a second undergrad master's degree or something in order to prove that I could teach math in Rhode Island when I was teaching math in Massachusetts.
Now, presumably Massachusetts doesn't have more non-white teachers percentage-wise than Rhode Island does. So how do they educate kids better?
Well, it's considered a constitutional right, so every student, regardless of what zip code they live in, has access to quality education, and that's addressed at the state level. Whereas Rhode Island has left it up to our 36 school education systems to determine how education looks. There's also no common curriculum until very recently, that Rhode Island didn't have a common curriculum across the state. So one student in Providence was learning something completely different than students who are living down in Narragansett or South Kingstown.
We still don't.
We still don't have one. Well, we still do not have one.